where the journey of discovering your inner magic begins. In a world filled with endless possibilities, we invite you to explore the depths of your being and unlock the mysteries of your true potential. Through insightful teachings, transformative practices, and enlightening conversations, we empower you to access the brilliance that resides within you. Join us as we embark on a path of self-discovery, empowerment, and spiritual awakening. Are you ready to tap into the infinite wellspring of magic within you? Here is your host, Venus Castleberg.
Hello, magical beings. How are you today? I am here and happy to be talking to you about one of my favorite subjects, believe it or not. I think in general, I just love talking about all the things that are weird and different and woo-woo. So thank you for those of you joining now and in the future. Hi, Kimberly. Welcome. It really is just fun to have people like you that like to talk about this stuff too. So the mysteries of channeling. I want to start today, before I dive into this fun little topic. Let's lower our walls and barriers, even the ones we don't know about. Destroy and uncreate them. Push them down, pull them down. Don't worry, you created them so you can pick them right back up if you want to. And expand your awareness out 100,000 miles in all directions. I know I've said it before, but I think it bears repeating. No one and nothing can harm you. It is, one, our beliefs that something can harm us that cause harm. And two, the places where we actually put up walls and barriers and keep ourselves away from our awareness. Your awareness is your greatest superpower. Because especially when we're talking about something like channeling, if you're going to start playing with this, you're going to want to start channeling probably beings of light or beings that have your highest and best interest in mind, right? And not just open yourself as a channel to anyone and everyone to come through. Because you don't want anyone and everyone to come through. Well, hopefully you don't. I don't. I will speak for me then. I don't particularly want anyone and everyone to come through. And you do have to practice a little bit of discernment in knowing when the being is benevolent and has your back, or when the being maybe doesn't. Not that you can be harmed or that you're in danger, but more like you wouldn't necessarily let anybody come into your home. This is very true of channeling as well. There's a bunch of different types of channeling, and we'll talk about that today. But however you choose to do channeling, it's like going, okay, I'd really like to talk to the beings that have my best interest in mind. Or I want to talk to my true self and my higher self. Or I want to talk to my spirit guides. Hi, Christina, welcome. So just allowing yourself to have the walls and barriers down, even the ones you don't know about, and then expand your awareness out and just observe, what are you aware of? What do you know? Right? And you don't even have to have a cognitive awareness of what that is, but just know that suddenly you're aware of the hummingbirds in the flowers and the wind in the trees and beings with bodies and beings without bodies and beings without bodies that are your spirit guides and beings without bodies that are lost souls. You might not want to be channeling lost souls. I guess that's why I started with this today. It was just so that you use your discernment and be like, okay, this being is an archangel, or this being is a collective, or there's lots of collectives out there, right? So even Abraham is considered a collective. Many of you may know Esther and Jerry Hicks. Jerry is no longer on this earth plane. And she channels, Esther Hicks channels Abraham. So they talk about being collective. And then there's like Sarah Landon, who channels, she actually channels, I forget what they're called, but what's cool about what Sarah says is she says she channels our higher selves. Hi, Amy, welcome. So how cool is that, right? Like, she's aware that this is a collective of beings that is technically our higher selves. Not sure what's going on with my throat today, but what's right about that? Hi, Sonia. Welcome. It's really nice to have you all here. Thank you for chiming in and letting me know you're here. If you're watching, I love it when you say hello. I love it when you ask questions. You can call in and ask questions today at 202. I have to look it up real quick. 202-570-7057. Maybe somebody can put that in the comments. It's 202-570-7057. If you want to call and ask questions, you don't have to, but I love talking to people. Actual people. And I'm talking to you, but you know what I mean? Like where it's actually a conversation. So if you're aware of everyone and everything, then you can practice that discernment. Thank you very much for posting the phone number. That's all right, Kristen. Welcome. It's nice to have you. So, what is channeling? I know that there's some people who've been asking. We have a free webinar coming up this Wednesday on channeling your higher self. We'll also drop that link in the comments for you to sign up for that if you want to. It's free, and that's going to be a cool practice that we get to do together. But I've had some people asking, okay, what is channeling? And channeling is a practice in which an individual allows themselves to be a conduit of communication with consciousness, spirit guides, deities, ascended masters, and your true self, your higher self. So you're literally just being a messenger, a voice for any number of things. I named a couple already, like Abraham, and the council is who Sarah Landon does. But there's lots of channelers out there, right? These are just a few that I know, that I've followed, and that I've listened to from time to time. Gary Douglas channeled Rasputin, the mad monk of Moscow. And he channeled the access bars, the 32 points on the head that I talk about sometimes. My mom likes to call it a brain colonic. Basically gets rid of all the junk in your brain. It's a beautiful practice. You can get a session, and worst case scenario, you'll feel like you had a great massage. Best case scenario, your whole life will change. And that was channeled information as well. So there's definitely people that have taken, like, okay, beings, some maybe even ancestors of yours, or spirit guides. Like I said, guardian angels. You could channel any number of beings that are on the other side. Extraterrestrials are also common. There have been many people that channel the Pleiadians, or channel some sort of extraterrestrial group or being. There have been deities, ascended masters was what I was going for. So ascended masters are maybe beings that have had a body before and have evolved and they might have something to share. Now, the reason why we want to practice discernment before we start practicing the whole channeling thing is you want to be clear on like, okay, well, Rasputin, the mad monk of Moscow, had something to share, right? And Gary chose to bring that information in, right? Sarah Landon, the council, has something to share. Abraham, the law talks about the laws of attraction a lot. That information is coming through. So there's different types of channels, but the channeler, in order to do channeling, and I think this will speak to you, Kristen, when channeling, do you meditate? So there's different types of channeling and different ways of getting into channeling. But yes, often through meditation, some people do go into a trance, and some people use it through writing. You can do automatic writing is one of them. So, but usually, yes, somebody goes into some sort of meditation, some sort of trance to then allow the information to come through. Now, I will say this, for me, this isn't true for everybody, but some people do leave, like both Esther Hicks and Sarah Landon do actually leave, and Abraham and the council come in and take over. And basically they use their bodies, those women's bodies, to speak to whoever's in front of them as the beings, right? So that's trance work, and that's one way of doing it, but it's not the only way. I know some people are like, I don't want to like give up my body and go into a trance and become somebody. I'm somebody else. That's okay. You don't have to. You can still channel even if you're not like giving up your body as like, okay, you can come in and talk through me. I've seen channelers that like the experience of leaving their body and having another being come in their body can be very dramatic and very physical. And then others are just like one steps out, the other one steps in. I don't know what makes the difference for that. It might be some unconscious resistance to that, or I don't know. So that part I don't really know because I haven't had a chance to talk to people that have a very visceral physical experience with it. Again, you get to choose. So you can there's 4 main methods for channeling, and we'll go over those in a minute. But essentially, the whole point of channeling, the key aspect of channeling, is to access other realms beyond this physical plane. Meaning accessing energies and beings without physical bodies, right? So I don't know, you could channel fairies for all I know. like it's all available, but there are many, many beings out there without bodies and that are not fit on this physical plane. Like, meaning you can't like reach out and touch them physically most of the time. I'm not going to say that never happens, because obviously sometimes they touch you and you know that because the tingling of your body and on your body. So so you can definitely work on connecting with beings and spirits that are not on the physical plane. And yeah, Kristen, I went into it a little bit, but just you can do that through meditation or trance work to receive and relay the messages. That being said, I have seen people channel without even realizing they're channeling. Meaning it's not like they leave their body, or that they go through this whole ritual meditation. Now it's possible, but I've also just seen people that can just kind of switch in, switch out, right? light switch, ding, ding, like channeling open, channeling closed. I think in general, I'll speak, and this is just my interesting point of view, kind of feel into it for yourself. But I think in general, most of the world makes things far more difficult than they need to be. I really truly believe that if you want to be a channel or want to tap into channeling, that it's not that difficult. And it doesn't have to be this big, dramatic, drawn out thing, and you don't have to meditate for 2 hours a day. You can, but I don't get that that's necessary. Even Abraham Hicks will talk about meditating for like 15 minutes. 15 minutes is enough. But we think, oh no, it's more valuable if I spend 3 hours sitting on a cushion. Maybe. Or is it maybe like starting to realize that you're being this energy in your life all the time, and you turn it on and turn it off all the time? Many people channel through readings. That's very common. I know I do. I'll pull out some cards, I'll do some numerology, and then I know that I'm a voice of channeling. Now, am I channeling? This is another question you might have for yourself. Are you channeling yourself, or are you channeling another spirit? If you're channeling, that's a great question to ask, because you might just be channeling your true self, your higher self. And I'll go back to the beginning just as a reminder, but from a kind of a different perspective. No one and nothing is more powerful than you. So even if you're starting to like ask your spirit guides for contribution, or wanting to tap in and do channeling and stuff like that, it's not that these beings have information that you don't have access to. You have access to it too. And maybe it's just about you starting to trust you and what you have to bring through. Because some people call it your higher self. I call it your true self. Because again, I don't necessarily believe there's anything higher than you, or there's a hierarchy, and that there's anything more powerful than you, or that knows more than you. You are an infinite being, and you have access to the infinite universe. Like, you don't actually have to draw on somebody else's knowledge and make them more powerful than you. So if you start to realize that you're being a channel, maybe you're being a channel for another being, or maybe you're just being a channel for your true self that is an infinite being and knows everything in the infinite universe. Something maybe worth playing with, worth looking at. We'll talk more about channeling your higher self on Wednesday at the free webinar. So maybe we can get Christina to drop the link in the comments. That'd be great. So Kristen says, when a spirit wants to communicate with me, they start giving me a song and I bust out singing. That's awesome. Thank you, Kristen. That actually is one of mine too. Like, I'll often wake up in the morning with some weird random song in my head, and then I'll be like, I don't use, this isn't messages usually for other people, but I do look at like, okay, what's the lyrics? What's the energy? What's the song saying for me? Because I often feel like it's a message for me. But that's great that I think too, the spirit, I know because of in most of the spirit realm, not the ghosts or the beings that are souls that are stuck here, but like other beings, they are funny and light and crack jokes and try to get us to laugh and loosen up. And music is one of those ways that, like, loosen up and have some fun. Enjoy what you're doing. Don't make it so serious all the time. I know that's what my spirit guides had to say to me for a long time. Maybe that resonates for some of you. But they really are just like, you guys are just taking this life thing way too serious. So I love that Christian says, yes, they're a hoot. Yep. So, hello, Melinda. Nice to have you. Yay. I always love it when you guys can come live, and I get it. Life happens and stuff like that. But remember, you can also call in at that wonderful phone number if you want to talk to me live, 202-570-7057. So some methods for channeling, we talked about a little bit, but there's intuitive channeling. That's receiving messages through intuition and knowing. Again, that comes through like my readings a lot. There's just an intuitive hit, a knowing. I don't always know where it comes from. I don't need to. I'm here to deliver the messages to the people. And then when the people say, that makes sense to me, I'm like, great, because it didn't make a lick of sense to me. I say a lot of things to a lot of people when they're getting readings, and I'm like, I don't actually know what this means. Do you? So I think that's also, I've been willing to like let go of the ego and let going of trying to get it right and perfect and look good and avoiding looking back. Don't get me wrong, I still have my moments, but for the most part, I'm like, okay, I'm okay if somebody wants to judge me or have a point of view or doesn't have a clue what I'm saying. And then for all of those of you out there who are psychic mediums and are already doing readings, I'm going to just poke you a little bit and say, it doesn't need to make sense to you. It only needs to make sense to them. And there are going to be some times that they're going to be like, none of this makes sense to me. And what I always say to those people is like, okay, well, then maybe sometime it will make sense to you. Just allow it to unfold for you. Because then it takes the pressure off of me and that somehow I'm doing it right or wrong. And then it gives them the freedom to go explore and then be like, wow, that psychic did say that to me that one time. So just as a possibility. So Christian says, have you ever had a spirit or spirits try to come through and communicate when doing a reading? Yep, absolutely. I have a few times and I had to set boundaries to an extent. Yep. Like I said, I don't, my body is not up for rent when it comes to channeling. So that's the boundaries that I do have. You can't just come in and speak through me. I'm happy to deliver messages through me, but you can't come in and make me leave and talk to them. That's not how this works. I'm happy to deliver the messages for you, but not have you come through me. I hope that makes sense. But that's one of the ways. And there's no right or wrong here. You can have that intuitive hit, and then the trance channeling is okay, that person has left the building, another being is talking. And you're going to know, like if somebody has left the building and you're talking to a new being, there's a different energy. They talk different. They have a different cadence. They're like trance. They just sound different. Like you can listen to Esther Hicks and what she sounds like when she talks, and then as soon as Abraham comes in, what they sound like when they talk. Completely different beings, right? And that she's okay with that. I just always knew that I didn't want to put my body out for rent in that way. But it took me a long time in my life to become embodied in the first place. So maybe right now I'm just enjoying being embodied, and that might change someday. Who knows? So Terry says, I recently embraced my gift after escaping religion. It took a little time, but I no longer care what people think. Awesome, Terry. Super happy for you. Yeah, me too. It took me till I turned 50 to stop caring what people thought. And then I was just like, wow. I even got an email. I don't know how he got on my email list. I mean, I guess sometimes people sneak through or whatever, but got an email from a guy today who basically just, ripped me a new one about channeling. Is it real? There's no proof and blah, 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 blah. You know what? I don't need him to believe it. Like, I don't need to convince him. I don't need him to believe it. If I'm channeling or I'm delivering messages, it's for the person I'm talking to. It's not to prove that I'm right or prove channeling right or anything like that. It's just like, here's some messages. These are for you. Take them or leave them. Also can't be attached to the result or the person wanting the messages. even if they're asking for them, just so you know. So, Carrie, their vibe, energy, or all different. Yep. I'm 56. That's right. Yep. Great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being engaged. That's really cool. And then the third one I mentioned earlier is automatic writing. This is one of my favorite ones to do, truly. And this, interestingly enough, is one of the times that I'm present but not present, because I actually do writing verbally to my computer. So basically what I do is I get into a meditative trance state, and then I'm like basically journaling on my computer. And then the next thing I know, I'm speaking to my computer from a different place. So I guess in a way I still do the trance channeling. I just don't do it in public, or that's just something between me and my guides, I guess, or my team. So awesome. Hi, Cassandra. Kimberly's still a dot. Still a dot. Oh, you're cute. So Kimberly is still working on automatic writing. It's okay. It's not for everyone, right? And it's not necessarily, but when it comes through, it'll come through. So, and maybe that's just not the way that it comes through for you, right? And then the other one a lot of people know of is the verbal channeling, speaking messages received from entities. And this is like very similar to the intuitive channeling, and probably kind of commingle, especially if you do readings, is like sometimes you're speaking from intuition and knowing, and sometimes you're speaking like there's another entity out here, standing talking to you, and you're like speaking to them. It can come up for everybody in a different way. So I just recommend playing with it, taking a look at all the places that maybe you already are channeling and you just haven't acknowledged it. And it's not, again, I just want to preface this, it's not that you're channeling somebody who's better than you or knows more than you. Maybe you are already channeling your higher self and your knowing. Maybe it's just you, your true self. We're going to take a quick break here and come back in just a couple minutes, and we'll do a guided visualization to help us get to that open channel. Look forward to seeing you on the other side.
Times TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome forward, everyone. And yep, Kristen says I have all those kind of writing, speaking, singing cards, all, however, each one are advancing. That's amazing, Kristen. I'm happy for you. And how does it get even better? One of my favorite questions. We'll drop a link. We just dropped a link for you if you are interested in joining us for that free webinar on Wednesday on channeling your higher self. please go ahead and sign up, use that link. Again, it's free, and we would love to have you. In the meantime, for those of you who are here now and in the future, let's find that comfortable seat, that spot. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes. But if you are somewhere where you're safe and can close your eyes, go ahead and do that now. And breathe in and exhale out. Breathe in and exhale out. Breathe in and exhale out. And relax from the tip of your head to the tip of your toes. Breathe in. Exhale out. Every breath, you just relax more and more and more. Breathe in. Exhale out. Breathe in. Exhale out. And lowering those walls and barriers, like we said before. Lowering them even more and even more. And trusting that your awareness is what keeps you safe. Your awareness will let you know who to talk to and who to move on. So lower the walls and barriers even more. And expand your awareness out. Breathe in. Exhale out. Breathe in. Exhale out. Imagining yourself in a calm, safe place. Maybe it's your favorite place on the planet. It could be a bubble bath in your bathtub. It could be in the forest, in the trees. It could be on the beach. Wherever it is, just notice how calm and safe you feel. And I'd like you to invite your body to come on this adventure with you. You don't have to leave your body to have this adventure, this exploration. Your body can be included. And lower the walls and barriers even more. Breathe in, exhale out, and relax. Breathe in, exhale out, and relax more. Just imagine yourself sitting down in your calm, safe place, maybe sitting on the beach. Maybe sitting on the grass in a field. Notice there are no annoying bugs or things crawling on you or biting you. All of that is not here because you're in a calm, safe place where you can relax and let go, where you can relax and let be. And breathe in and exhale out. And as you're sitting in this calm, safe place, one of your favorite places, you perceive, you feel, you know that there just happens to be a being sitting right next to you. And just say hello. And maybe you know immediately who that being is because they've been with you before. Or maybe there's a being there that you don't know very well. Practice your discernment. And ask for only the beings that have your highest and best in mind to be there with you. And then all other beings need to walk around. Just say hello to this being that sits next to you in this calm, safe place. Breathe in. Exhale out. Breathe in. Exhale out. And maybe that being is just you. Another version of you, your true self, maybe you from another lifetime. None of it really matters, just making sure that this being is here for your highest and best. And just talk to them. Ask them, are you here to channel through me? In what ways? Or maybe they'll tell you, or maybe you tell them. So these are the ways that I'd be okay with you coming through and channeling through me. My intuition, my knowing, automatic writing. Or if you're willing, you can set the bar at trance channeling if that's something that you're asking for and that you've asked for. But know that you don't have to choose any of these. If this is not something that you want to practice or not something that you want to learn, then you can just greet them, tell them it's nice to see them, and move on. And because we're all humanoid, and I know there's many of you out there that are like, am I making this up? Is this in my mind? No, none of it. You're not crazy. You're not making it up. It's actually true. It is really happening. However, I know you need confirmation for that, especially if those are your questions. Am I crazy? Am I making this up? So just ask whatever being is there with you that has your highest and best in mind, or knows the future that you'd like to create, and ask them to show you a sign, to give you a confirmation of this time together. And maybe me just saying that was confirmation enough. For being aware, using your awareness as you go about your day, keeping those walls and barriers lowered, and how much more where are you? And let them show you that what you have heard today and perceived today is true. And give you that confirmation that you seek, that you've asked for, that you've wished for time and time again. And then letting that go, breathe in, exhale out, knowing that that confirmation will come at just the right time for you. Breathe in, exhale out. And then asking your spirit guides, your light being, whoever's sitting next to you, what would they like you to know right now, today? And then let that go. Not necessarily seizing and holding it, not trying to make it real. Just have the awareness and know that when the time is right, that will come to fruition for you. That will be true for you. Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. And then let this being show you all the places where you have already been channeling. You have already been tapping into that stream of consciousness. It's available for everyone, maybe through your intuition, your knowing. And maybe today, just for right now, you throw away or throw it into the fire and let go of anywhere where you somehow think that's not a superpower of yours. Would you throw that in a fire, please? It's available to everyone. It's just going to show up for everybody different. It's not going to look like everybody else. But acknowledging all the places where you've already been doing it. Where you already know things that you think you shouldn't know. Where you've already said things that you have no idea where they came from. and that it was never a thought in your mind. Maybe see multiple episodes or multiple times where you just knew something or said something or changed somebody's life with a word or a hug. What if you were channeling their supposed imaginary friend and giving them a hug when they had never had a hug before? And when was the time that you burst out into laughter for no apparent reason? Were you channeling joy? Were you channeling bliss? You are far more aware than you've ever given yourself credit for. And you have all known something, and you have no idea how you could have known that. Sometimes good news, sometimes bad news, sometimes not fun news, right? It's never fun to predict that a friend has cancer, but it is an acknowledgement of how aware you truly are and how that information is being channeled through you. Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. But you know that you've been pretending not to know that if you knew it, it would change everything for the greater. Even the things that you aren't fun to know or aren't fun to tap into, there's still healing space and connection and communion that can happen there. Like the time I gave a reading to a woman who had just lost her husband, and the healing that came from him talking to her through me was palpable, was profound, was such a gift. And I am so grateful that I get to be that messenger, that conduit for others. Where do you get to be that healing presence? What if you are channeling consciousness all the time? Consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. If you are channeling consciousness by not judging yourself or others, if you're channeling that knowing, even if you don't know where it came from, breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. And sometimes what you know may not make sense to anybody else. Just think of Noah and the ark, and building a massive boat. Nobody had ever seen a boat before. And then putting two of each animal on it. What did he know? Was he channeling source? Was he channeling a universal truth? An inner knowing? Are you willing to channel what you know, even if nobody else gets it? Nobody believes you and nobody trusts you. Give all the people that call Noah crazy. And I'm not here to prove religion. I'm just, even if it's just a parable or a story, it's the same. Like, where have you had that spark of truth that you knew with every fiber of your being was true? Are you willing to be it? To have it? To know it? Even if nobody else does. What you know and what you tap into is going to be uniquely for you. Sometimes as messages for you, and other times as just a knowing for something, for somebody else. Maybe in a reading that you give that will create healing. The mention of something maybe so minor, so little, that it's actually doesn't seem like it would do much, but it changes everything for that person. That is such a gift. Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. Just becoming aware of your body. Be aware of your butt on the seat, or your feet on the floor, or your hands as they rub together. Breathe in and relax. Exhale. Thanking the being or beings you might have had plural that came to visit you today, to impart upon you some knowing, some wisdom. And think about that maybe message that they gave you. And think about whether you knew that already before. On some level, you had a niggling that that was the case at some other time before. So this isn't necessarily a knowing that is coming from something outside of you. to you? What if it's a knowing that you've had all along that just came out today? That just became clear today? Breathe in, exhale out. And if you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Coming back to the present moment. I really hope you enjoyed that channeling session. And if you can join us, please click on the link. We'd love to have you in the free webinar, Channeling Your Higher Self, in just a couple days. Have a wonderful day. Bye.